Okay, so the next match we got here is Jon Moxley. I'm not doing that whole voice thing. Versus Satoshi Kojima in the singles match, and it's just, I guess, just a badass match for badass match sake. And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm
I I
thinking John can
I
take.
wish
Yes.
I wish Jack was here. I wish Jack was here specifically for this one because God knows I love hearing Jack and all his thoughts on Moxley. Just I never get tired of it.
Oh God, he hates him, huh?
I mean, well, I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure he don't know. I'll say this. This is my Jackknives memorial rant for John Moxley is I'm still annoyed at this son of a bitch for stealing my theme music. And I'm not over it, and I'm probably not going to be over it because that was my rookie year. I used "Wild Thing" by X as my theme music, and now I was thinking, toying with the idea of bringing it back, and now I never can because this guy had to go and use it on TV. So now I can't use it ever again because that's the rule. If somebody does it on TV, you can't do it. So it's like, oh, screw you. So there it is. Should have checked me first. He's
Um,
over there like, who's this asshole? I'm sure.
this one's one I think can go either way. Because on one side, I'm pretty sure Moxley can like afford the loss with this one, depending on how big Satoshi is. Now, I was hearing people were complaining that they wanted someone else instead of Satoshi, like a bigger name. Name escapes me for the moment. But what I understand was the main reason that that other person couldn't compete was because a lot of the guys in the New Japan Pro Wrestling locker room got the Rona, and they got their own pay per view coming up. So that guy had to stay there so that they could at least have some sort of star power to bring people to the pay per view. So that's why Satoshi was the one that was available to wrestle Moxley and everything. But I don't know, like. I mean, Satoshi sounds like another one of those one-time deal guest characters. AEW just brings in what's his name, like Jeff Cobb or something, was just there for that one match and that's it and stuff. And then they brought in that death match guy to fight against Jericho, and he's like a one-off. So I kind of feel Satoshi's kind of a one-off. So kind of based on that, I'm gonna say I want to say John still takes it. John Moxley still takes it because I don't know, like unless they're actually gonna sign this guy, I don't see the point of him winning.
Well, I mean, here's where, jokes aside, I really wish we had Jack with us today because he is the expert on Japanese wrestling and what's going on presently over there. He keeps up with it a lot more tightly than I do. Now Satoshi Kojima, I mean, he's been around. This is definitely not his first rodeo. I mean, he's been in New Japan since '91. He's won 8 million titles. He had the IWGP and the Triple Crown at the same time, which is huge. So he's a name. Him and Tenzan had the IWGP tag belt 6 times. I mean, this is a bit of a bigger deal than it's being marketed as, or people are making noise about it. Really, I mean, if you know anything about Kojima, and again, I wish Jack was here because he would,
Yeah, of
he'd have a
course.
lot more to say about it than I do. But I could see it going either way because, like you said, if he's only coming in for a one-off, I could see him putting Moxley over, and I'm pretty sure it is just a one-off. I mean, at the same time, it's almost like Moxley's getting rubbed just being in the same ring with this guy. Because among quote unquote real wrestling fans, it's like, yeah, Moxley's probably a bigger name among like your armchair wrestling fans, but Kojima is probably a bigger name amongst like your quote unquote real wrestling fans. So, which one's the bigger name would depend greatly on who you ask and what kind of wrestling fan they be. Um, I know, didn't Moxley lose the IWGP United States title recently?
Yeah, I
Like,
think he
wasn't
did.
wasn't Jack doing cartwheels about that?
Yeah, I think yeah he did.
So I mean, maybe he's in a run of putting the New Japan guys over. I don't know, but it's a pick'em. There's always a pick'em. I'm gonna say, I guess I'm gonna have to be pragmatic and sign with you, and say I think Moxley's gonna take it just because I don't think Kojima's gonna be back. So I think it's probably another case of like giving Moxley a big win over a big name. That could be how it goes down. I'll go with that. I'll say Moxley takes it, but it's tough.
Yeah. Because I gotta say, though, it's been a coincidence, but all of these special one-time, guest star kind of things, they never win their matches, though. I mean, yeah, they're there, the spectacle, oh my god, what is he doing in AEW, and all that, and you put up a good match and all that, but then, like, they end up losing, so I don't know.
Well, it comes back to a story that Jake the Snake told about working at a territory way back. It was before he got to the WWF. It was a smaller territory, but they brought in Muhammad Ali to do a guest shot. And at the end of the match, they did the big schmaz, and one by one, all the bad guys would run in, and they'd all take the big punch from Muhammad Ali. This guy runs in, bam, he falls down. This other guy runs in, bam, he falls down. Jake runs in, and Ali hits him, and Jake doesn't go down, and he just does the, come on, is that all you got? And he starts mocking him, doing the Ali shuffle and everything like that. And he got to the back, and the promoter got in Jake's face and screamed at him. He was like, what the hell are you doing? That's Muhammad Ali, and you don't sell the punch. And Jake says, well, Muhammad Ali ain't coming back here next week to work in front of all these people, and I am. So, that sort of puts it in perspective a little bit. If you're bringing a guy in, and they are just doing a one-shot, on one hand, well, if they're a big name, you would expect them to look as good as they could. But on the other hand, it's like, well, you do have to protect the guys who are going to be here next week and the week after that and the week after that. So on that level, it makes sense. Like, it wouldn't make sense for, Jericho to lose to, that Captain Pizza Cutter guy. That doesn't, that wouldn't make sense for Jericho to lose that match because Jericho actually works there. But yeah, so based on the logistics of the situation, I'll go with you and say Moxley's probably going to take it just because Kojima's probably just going to be a one and done for now. How about you, Johnny? What do you got on this one?
Yeah, this is a weird match in a way. It's kind of weird because I don't really follow the Japanese wrestling, but knowing, hearing the credentials of how, good of a wrestler Satoshi is, it's kind of like, wow, I don't know if they're just going to bring him here to AEW and make him lose the match. But on the other hand, I don't know if they're just going to, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's...
There a legit case could be made that he's the biggest name that Moxley's ever wrestled. Like, the most accomplished professional wrestler that Moxley's ever been in a ring with. If we want to talk real credentials and not just WWE stuff.
But I don't know, considering that more people, most of the people here in the States are going to know more, who Jon Moxley is. I think that, I don't know, I think it's kind of going to be a Jon Moxley winning the match, but it'll probably be like he barely won the match, but he still ends up winning. That's the way I see it.
All right, so all three of us are going for Moxley. Like, based on the logic of Jake the Snake, that, hey, Satoshi won't be here next week.
I could be wrong, but, it's not the first time we're ever wrong with some of these predictions. But, because you never know what's going to happen in the actual event. But,
yeah, I mean, there's ones where they're so wild that all of us get them wrong because it's so, like, random,
It just brings me back to when I was a kid watching WCW. It used to blow my mind that, like, Jushin Liger would come in, like... And I'd be watching it, and I'd be like, oh, my God, Jushin Liger. And then he would lose. And I'd be like, wait a second. Something doesn't seem right there. And then later on, you find out how the business works and everything. But then you're like, okay, well, yeah, it makes sense. Liger, he's here for today, and he's not coming back for 6 months. Yeah, it makes sense why, in this situation, Pillman would win or whoever he would be wrestling at that moment. So... I'm using that same logic here. And plus Kojima, he is a little older now, which doesn't mean as much as it used to, because obviously guys nowadays are going well into their 40s and even 50s. He's only 50 years old. But, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it as an opportunity where they're bringing in another import to shine Moxley up and make him look like the legit world beater badass that they so clearly want him to be. So that's the way I see it going.
So next match is pretty simple. I think this one won't take too long to think about, but we got Paul Wright, aka The Big Show, or I should say formerly known as The Big Show, going up against QT Marshall, who's going to have Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto, kind of lurking around there. But I think even with those two, obviously Big Show's going to win. I don't see them losing. I think this feels like a kind of like a can Big Show still go? Can Paul Wright still go? And I'm pretty sure it's like a short-lived little thing. I'm not sure he's going to become an actual, because he seems happy just being the commentator. But it just feels like to prove to people, yeah, he can still go, and we'll see. But I don't know. I'm sure he could take him down. Even with they'll try with the numbers game and stuff, because they're supposed to, but they're going to jump in. So I'm thinking it's going to be kind of a squash.
I disagree. And I think there's a lot of variables in there, but I think Comoroto is one of those variables. I could see this match being used as a way to pivot I'm doing what you did. His name is Paul White, Mark, not Wright. I mean, you got me doing it now. It's Paul White. And I could see them using this to pivot into a monster versus monster match, or even maybe a series of matches between him and Comoroto, because, oh my God, have you looked at Nick Comoroto lately? Again, I got to go back and always bring it up, but we spent time together at the Monster Factory, and this guy has it. And he's got look at him. He looks like he eats people. I mean, there's a guy who, if you're QT Marshall, you want him in your corner. That's number one. Selfishly, I'm always rooting for these guys because of the whole Jersey connection and the fact that we've worked together and this and that. I've been on shows together, and I've been in the ring with QT. I've been in the ring with Nick, and I'm always rooting for him for that reason. And I'm not rooting against Paul White in this instance. We've seen a couple things happen with AEW. We've seen a lot of these guys, these big-name guys, lose their big comeback match. We've seen that happen a lot so that they could pivot to something else or to shine somebody up. So I'm predicting shenanigans here. I think Comoroto is going to get involved. I think Marshall's going to steal it. And I think it's going to lead to something with Paul White and Nick Comoroto in the near future. That's what my gut tells me. I will not be shocked if you're correct and they just give Paul one to give him one, because obviously he's going to get a few. I don't think they're bringing him in to be a 7-foot job guy. Not at all. I don't think that. But I think, if you got two guys, if you got a guy like Paul White and he's standing across the ring from Marshall and Comoroto, it's like, well, it's one thing to see him lock up with Marshall, but I really want to see him lock up with Comoroto. That just looks like money to me. If he squashes Marshall right out of the gate, there's nowhere to go. So I think they're going to do a little shift of gears here. I think they're going to do something with him and Nick. So that's my prediction. I think QT is going to steal it with help from the factory. And I think they're going to set Paul up to get his revenge down the line. So we'll see. I understand where you're coming from. And if you're right, I'm not going to be shocked. But I think my gut's telling me something different.
What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, so what do I think? I don't know. This can go either way. I'm just going to go with Mark's prediction and maybe Paul Wright.
Yeah, well, you're right, though.
I'm all alone again. I'm the only one picking my poor boy QT. Nobody believes in him but me. I'm telling you, he's due. He's due for a big one.
And I wouldn't be surprised. Now, one side, Comoroto does win. or does shenanigans, because he's not technically in the match, he's just backing them, you know. But with shenanigans, I wouldn't be surprised. It would be like the last time, Agogo socked Cody out. But QT, the way he was talking, you think he was the one that won the match on his own. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does win thanks to Colorado's help. He'll still prance around like he did himself.
Oh yeah, That's I said this a year ago when QT was doing the babyface stuff with Dustin and all those guys. I was saying how it blew my mind because I've known the guy for over 10 years. I've been on a million shows with him. And he's such a natural heel. And he makes it look so easy. And I had never seen him work babyface before. So to see it, it was like, what is the end game here? There's got to be something. It didn't feel wrong, but it didn't feel right. And now seeing him in this role that he's at right now, this is the guy I know, and he's finally getting to show what he really does and what he can really do. And I think ultimately, from a storytelling perspective, if White wins the match, then okay, then this is already over and they got nowhere to go. But whereas Marshall's got two guys in the corner too. Like we always say, like if you got guys standing ringside, if you don't use them, what the hell are they even there for? So
yeah.
On one hand, they could just all run in to take the big punch, and one of them take a choke slam. Maybe I could see that, but at the same time, I could see, this guy gets the punch, this guy gets the punch, this one goes up for the choke slam, but then somebody clobbers him from behind or whatever. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it being a clean win for White. I think if he wins, I could even see it being like a DQ or something like that. But no, I think they're going to further the story. That's my prediction. But I'm all alone in that. We'll see come this weekend, I guess. I'm just so happy for QT because he's getting to work with this guy. But again, a lot of people don't know this because officially they don't really spread it around on his bio. But White had he did some time at the Monster Factory as well, way early on. He had a cup of coffee there before WCW snatched him up. So this is basically between Marshall, Paul White, and Nick Camarado. This is like a Monster Factory showcase match. So to me, that's exciting as a Jersey guy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know White was at the Monster Factory because it was real short. And then again, like once you go to WWE, they usually ask you to bury that stuff because, like, Sheamus was there, but he doesn't talk about it. It's weird.
All right, guys. So now the next match is one of the big ones. This is based on the whole MJF and Jericho storyline. So now, yes, it's Chris Jericho versus MJF. It's the big final. We had this thing where what's his name? Where MJF set up Jericho in what he called the 5 labors of Jericho, where he had to face off against Shawn Spears. He had to face off against the pizza cutter guy that was very bloody and everything. He had to face against Jake Hager, and also is his old rival. What was his name? Ultimo Drago. No, yeah, Juventud Guerrero, right?
Ovi.
Yeah.
Ovi, man. No, stay up on this.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've seen those episodes. But yeah, I remember him. I was a big fan of his back in the WCW days. That was pretty cool. And then again, the final match was against MJF with Jericho surprisingly lost. I thought that was like the end to wrap it up, but no, he lost that match. So the feud was apparently over, but then Jericho came back and asked for just one last match. Like, I guess, whatever, last match. But the stipulation that this time, if Jericho loses, he'll retire from AEW, or at least from the ring, forever. He'll just do commentary or whatever, but he'll never step inside an AEW ring ever again. So, of course, that entices MJF enough to come out and say that, yeah, he'll accept the match. And, I mean, what can I say? Again, these stipulations, they're just very, they're very telling and all that. And, like if it was a regular match, I don't know. I think since MJF won the last one, it doesn't feel conclusive until Jericho finally whoops his smug ass. You know what I mean? And MJF apparently had beat Jericho a couple of times and their feuds. They mostly only lose like the big ones where it's like, you know, the entire inner circle against the Pinnacle, whatever. But when it's like the one-on-one matches, MJF has always been winning those. So it does feel like Jericho's going to win this one. I'm going to give it to Jericho, mostly also because of stipulation. I know he's up there in age, but I'm pretty sure they could still sneak one or two matches out of him anyway. I mean, it still might be too soon. I know people are going to insult him because, you know, a little bit too much bubbly, a little bit too much poutine, but but I still think he can still go for a couple of more matches here and there. It's still a little too soon to hang up the boots permanently, and we'll see what happens. And that's the thing. I know we've seen lots of stipulations before in other shows or other programs where this happens and a person goes, but after years later they come back anyway. So much for that. But so far, AEW is so young that they haven't done any of that. They haven't broken their stipulations yet. And Jericho really can't afford to, like, you know, vanish for 5 or 6 years and come back again. Like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, though. He's got that cruise coming up real soon. So he's going to need to take a little time off. And I think they got a Fozzy tour, too. Or planning to, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that might get affected by the restrictions again, but I mean,
the thing is, since he's not defending a title or anything, it's just like, you know, bragging rights, blood feud, whatever you want to call this. He could still leave a winner. You know what I mean? He can win and then just leave, and I don't know. Maybe the Pinnacle can either disband or focus on bothering someone else for a change.
I mean, you know, it's unfortunate, but at this point in wrestling, we're conditioned to when we see somebody do a retirement match, it's always like, oh, they'll be back in 6 months. I think Nash probably set the record. Or no, wait, no, Foley, I think, set the record. Yeah, because he came back in 4 weeks, so that was pretty scummy. But that wasn't all his fault. But yeah, I remember Nash.
Well, did he come back as a different character though, or was he still like whoever he was playing at the time?
Well, he came back. He came back as Mick Foley, so that was. But yeah, I remember before he did it, Nash had the record for the shortest because he lost to Hogan at Road Wild '99. That was in late August. So he retired in late August, and he was back in October. So I'm pretty sure that was who Foley was making fun of when he was talking at that time about, I'm not going to be one of those guys that retires for 6 weeks and comes back, because for the life of me, I can't think of anybody but Nash who ever pulled that. So yeah, that was pretty bad too. So yeah, I could be wrong. It would make Jericho look kind of crummy because that would mean he lost to MJF.
Like 4 times.
Yeah.
That'd be like Booker T, 4-time. You know what I mean? Like 4-time loss.
He did just lose to him on the show a couple weeks ago, which a lot of people were surprised by. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I want it to be Jericho. I do, and again, if he wins, there's reasons. I've said this a million times. The one thing that they do well over there at AEW is they set every match up in a way where no matter who wins, there's a logic to it. So that's good because it keeps people guessing. But based on the fact that I know Jericho's going to be gone for a little while, at least for various reasons, I'll say MJF. Again, like last time, if Jericho wins, I won't be shocked. But I think MJF is probably going to go over so Jericho can kind of be off TV for a little while. And, you know, it's wrestling, so they'll bring him back eventually. I don't think he's going to be done, but I think it's just a way to get him off TV. This is my cynical, you know, wrestling, you know, believe half of what you see, none of what you hear kind of thing. I've just seen it all go down 100 times, so I'm going to say that's the gimmick they're working. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'd love to see Jericho win, but I'm just going to say MJF for logistical reasons, but I do think Jericho will be back sooner rather than later.
The only thing I noticed is that none of the guys from either the Inner Circle or the Pinnacle have any matches. So they probably might show up and do all kinds of shenanigans here and there.
That's a great point.
Whether or not it affects the outcome of it being Jericho or MJF will remain to be seen. But I just noticed that no one, not even Sammy usually gets some kind of solo match or whatever. But yeah, no one has a match from the Inner Circle or the Pinnacle. I mean, I just say also, like, I don't know, because, like, the Inner Circle has had, feuds with Cody, that feuds with Moxley, that feuds with the Elite in general and stuff before it became, like, the Pinnacle. Like, I don't know, like, I would like to see the Pinnacle just move on and bother someone else or something, I guess, so that their entire thing, like, I know they kind of do exist right now to be a thorn in the Inner Circle side, but it would be kind of cool if they also moved on to someone else so that they don't disband and have some sort of longevity,
I mean, what if even, like you mentioned how none of them have matches, so based on that, I could see a schmaz. I could see a big thing happening where everything breaks down. And then, hey, what if somebody like Sammy or Jake comes in and costs Jericho the match as a way of, like, getting out from under him, like...
Yeah.
There's a lot they could do. Like, again, it almost makes for more interesting storytelling if they do it with MJF going over. The downside is, though, it's like, how many times is Jericho going to lose to this one guy? Like, that's the unfortunate side of it, because he's really in a hole when it comes to MJF, so
yeah,
he needs it. But at the same time, he's Chris Jericho, so no, he kind of doesn't need it. I remember back in the day, like...
well, that's a question here.
When Hogan had his SmackDown run, it was like they were jobbing Hogan out to everybody when he was on SmackDown, and that really pissed me off. But at the end of the day, it was like, did he really need those wins? Not really, so it's annoying, but it's understandable.
Well, that's the question, though. Can MJF stand the loss? I mean, he already beat him 3 times, but, like, can he take the loss?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, if he loses to Jericho now, like, where does MJF go from there? Does he just pivot and, like, go annoy somebody else? Or does he go over Jericho here and then take that next step into being, like, the top heel and being like, look, I retired your hero and all this stuff? I mean, there's a lot they can do with it. So there's almost more they can do with it. That's really...
Yeah, because either way...
Wrestling never ends. The stories never end. They just turn into new stories. So
yeah, I know. But, I mean, either way, win or lose, he's going to have to bother someone else after this. It's just like, the final, whatever the hell.
Yeah. Like I said, I got to give them credit for their storytelling. They set up almost everything they do in a way where you look at who's versus who, and you look at the stipulations, and you look at who's ringside, and you look at all these variables, and you're like, they could do almost anything, and it will make sense. So I say that every time we do one of these shows, but I mean, it's one of the things that I don't think a lot of people give them enough credit for. Like, I certainly crack on a lot of the decisions they make and some of the creative stuff they do and this and that, but, at the end of the day, when it comes to who's going to win and who's going to lose, they make it really tough to predict, and that's a credit to their presentation.
Now, what do you say,
what do we
Johnny?
got on this?
Okay, what do I think? Wow, this is it could be either or, to be honest, at this point. It's kind of conflicting, because on one hand, I mean, yes, Jericho is, one of the best wrestlers we have. But part of me also tells me that Chris Jericho probably wants to move on to other things. Maybe he wants to do more, like, the commentary. Like, maybe he wants to... I don't know. So, with that kind of viewpoint, I do think that MJF might actually win this match.
All right,
You also have to kind of think of it that the previous times that Chris Jericho have lost a match, maybe they're kind of doing that so that as a spectator, you kind of get used to that idea, whether you like it or not. So that if Chris Jericho loses this match, it's not really that big of a shock that he lost the match, since he previously have lost to MJF before. So I'm not crazy about MJF. I don't know, just seeing it from that perspective, there's a chance that he might win the match because maybe, you know, I don't know for sure, but doesn't want to wrestle as much as he used to back in the day. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, you know, he's got some other projects coming up. That's a big variable. So we got, looks like me and Johnny are on the same page on this one, where we're both saying MJF going to take it. And Mark, looks like you're the Jericho loyalist on this one.
Yeah. Well, they call me Le Champion at work for something, right?
I'd like to see him win. This time, I don't know. My gut says otherwise, but we'll see.
Oh, that's another thing, too. At the event, obviously, you know, stuff gets trimmed because it's a 1-hour show, but, you know, I assume when the show started, Jericho's already sitting down doing commentary, but we got to, of course, sing along to Judas when he showed up and everything, and that alone was worth the price of the tickets.
It amazes me how now everybody loves Fozzy.
It like threw my lungs out for like I don't know, almost a week where my voice is still cracking and everything. But between that and singing along to Jungle Boy's Tarzan song, but yeah,
it's just kind of funny, you know. Some of us were on board with Fozzy from day one. Some of us even went to see Fozzy perform. And it's like for 20 years, people were like, fuck Fozzy. And then now, all of a sudden, everybody loves him. Okay.
So, in other words, you were into Fozzy before they were cool.
That's right. I've always been.
But Jericho wasn't always with them, right?
No, Jericho was always with them when they were Fozzy. It was just, most of those guys used to be in Stuck Mojo, and then Stuck Mojo kind of imploded, and a lot of the guys, like, they had a side project called Fozzy Osbourne, where it was like some of the guys in Mojo, and then like whoever would show up would be like the singer for that night or whatever. Like they had, you know, it was like a super group where guys would do pop-ins, and then when they got connected with Jericho, he just became like the permanent front man, and then they dropped the Osborne part to be just Fozzy, and then so that's when they became like a real band instead of like a garage cover project sort of thing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was just, you'd think they always would have been bigger than they were, because I always I always loved their stuff. I got all their records. They started off, the first record was all covers except for, I think, 3 original songs. A little bit of Rikki Roxx trivia for you. My finisher, my Grapevine DDT that I call The End of Days, that's specifically a reference to the song on the very first Fozzy record, which was one of the 3 originals that they put on that record. It was all covers, and they did a couple of their own compositions. There's this really good song called End of Days, so that's a little Jericho tribute that I do whenever I wrestle. Is I go to hit my move, I call it, I yell it out, End of Days, and then boom. But yeah, second record was like 50 or 60-40 with covers and originals, and then start with the third record, it was all original material for the most part. And then every once in a while they'll do a cover, like they have that amazing cover of ABBA's SOS that's just the greatest thing ever put to music. And I've always loved Fozzy, but you know, you'd think even wrestling fans would be more on board with it, but you know, until he went to AEW and started using it as his theme music, it's weird, because I go online, all I see is people just cracking on Fozzy and, you know, fuck Fozzy and this and that. Nobody cares about Fozzy. And then the guy comes out and he starts using this song as his theme music, and now everybody loves the song, everybody loves the band, and it's like, you realize this thing's like 20-something years now, right? This Fozzy thing. Like, you guys are fucking front runners. I remember, like, they're good. They've always been good. When we seen them, I was in the front row and at PNC Arts Center, and they were great, and they were kicking ass, and like, you know, I felt bad for the other guys in the band, because everybody just keeps yelling, Y2J, Y2J, and it was like, you know, there's like 5 other guys in this band, right? Like,
yeah.
You got Rich Ward standing there. He's like one of the best guitar players alive right now. And, like, you know, people are, no-selling him, and he's doing most of the work. Like, nothing against Jericho, but it's really, like, as far as the musical side of things, it's really Rich's band. And, I don't know. I always loved Fozzy is my point, and it's just, it kind of tickles me now. Now everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case 2 years ago. Just safely say that.
Yeah. But, that's how it goes, I guess, with this world where everyone just jumps on trends and bandwagons and whatever. So
whatever it takes. Good for him. I'm glad I'm glad the song and the record and all that took off so well. It's just better late than never. But it's like, it's not like they just started doing great music last week.
Yeah. So the next match is kind of interesting, but I think it's also, it's kind of predictable, but yes, it is Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the AEW TNT Championship. And I'm going to give it to Miro. The only credit I'm saying is that, of course, this will obviously not be a squash match like his other matches. This will be a match, I'm sure that Eddie Kingston is actually going to make Miro, try and stuff like that. And yeah, it'll be a good match and everything. Maybe Mox might interfere, depending how his match goes, with Satoshi, but he might interfere, who knows, maybe not. But, yeah, I'm going to give it to Miro. Miro's going to win this one. The only way I can see Miro possibly losing this is if maybe Fuego del Sol does some shenanigans that cost him the title. But I'm thinking it's just going to be a decent Miro match where it's a bit longer than a regular squash because I'm expecting Eddie Kingston to at least, dish out the pain, do something more than the average guy that faces Miro. But in the end, Miro's still going to win, is what I'm saying.
I'm going to give it to Miro. Seems like it's a little bit too soon for him to lose the TNT Championship. Plus, I'm going to give it to Miro because between Miro and Eddie Kingston, I think Miro is going to spend more time getting psyched up for the match and less time tweezing his eyebrows.
Yeah.
I think Miro's going to win the match.
They got to keep him hot for eventually Lana coming in soon. So,
Yeah, he just got into the AEW.
Yeah, after repeatedly satisfying his very flexible wife.
I wouldn't be shocked. Hey, maybe it's gonna look like Kingston wins, and then she might show up and help Miro take it. You never know.
Yeah, but I like that promo. I forgot what he was saying, other stuff. He was like, I work hard all day and, working out blah, 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 and satisfying my very flexible wife multiple times. I'm like, what the fuck? Just to randomly blurt that out,
hey, if you can go there, man. That's the one thing they can say anything they want to about the guy and his work and his character and his booking. They can say whatever they want. And then, he could just say one thing and everybody got to shut up. Because, he gets to go home with her at the end of the day. So all the people heckling him about this, that, and the other, it's like, all right, we got to shut up. So, yeah, I don't blame him for flaunting that one on people.
Yeah, so I think all three of us are Team Miro. So the next one is.
I now that I've said it, I think I wouldn't be shocked if they have her come in and help him win. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I don't know if she's available yet, but maybe. I would definitely rather see her do that than stick her in the friggin' Battle Royal to do nothing.
Yeah, I know. And that was such a waste too. Putting in what was that guy's name? Leo Rush or whatever in the last thing, just for him to fucking retire the next day. Like, well, what the hell? What was even the point?
I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, hey.
That's the world's record right there. Even Cardona had at least one match.
Oh, man. None of that made any sense. It was like, look, he's here, and then, oh, no, wait, it was almost like they traded him. It's almost like he got traded to Impact. I know that's not literally what happened, but that's what it felt like, because it's like, oh yeah, we brought you in, and then we realized we kind of don't have anything for you to do, but, I mean, you know, there's these other guys we hang out with. Maybe you can go hang out with them.
I mean, they're hiring.
When aren't they?
Yeah. So the next one is the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros with Cero Miedo. And, this is going for the Tag Team Championship. And I'll be the first to say I want the Lucha Bros to win. I've had enough of the fucking Young Bucks with their annoying, attitudes and whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. I know they're like the heels, and I know they're supposed to be playing up the fame went to their head, and they're all about, like, showing off money and crap or whatever. But, like, I'm just sick of them regardless. They've had a title for a good run, too, I think. It's been long enough. You knew they were going to get the title sooner or later. Okay, now they've got it. Okay, let's move on now. It's a crime for the Lucha Bros to not have the titles at this point. So, if there's any time at all... And they won a tournament, too. They won against the favorites, which were Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, definitely. So it's like, if they did all that, what is the point if they're going to lose this one anyway? So they know they might, because the fucking numbers game, because they got Don Callis, and they've got fucking the Good Brothers there and all that. But, I don't know, man. I really want the Lucha Bros to win. If there's any way to kick off your Labor Day weekend, it was the Lucha Bros winning and stuff like that, and having the whole crowd say "Cero Miedo" and all that. Oh, that reminds me too, when they got to perform live, we got to see them live too, and we just kept waiting and waiting and waiting until the last minute. Like, Penta grabbed his opponent, and before slamming him down, he stopped so that the whole crowd can say "Cero Miedo" before spiking him, and that was epic. Awesome. That was awesome. Because it was a multi-tag thing. It was like, I think they were teaming up with the Luchasaurus and them, so they didn't have, how it is, you gotta give everyone enough time. So it wasn't like a regular match where Penta's saying Cero Miedo every, 5 seconds or whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad we got to say that too. But for this match, once again, I want Lucha Bros to win. I really, really want them to win. It would be so fucking awesome. And that was also the, Triángulo de la Muerte can show off some gold,
Any thoughts about how the steel cage is going to play into the dynamic? Because it is a steel cage match. You think that's going to affect it?
Oh, damn. I don't remember. Let me see here. Oh, shit. Yeah, steel cage match. Well, I mean, if anything, the fucking steel cage will help keep these fuckers out of it. I mean, I know they'll find some way in there or something, or they might do the famous thing where some of the Good Brothers or Don Callis might sneak in, illegal weaponry or whatever the fuck inside the cage or whatever. But I don't know, man. Regardless of the steel cage, at least it'll help keep these motherfuckers out. Unfortunately, we know Pac can't make it, so they don't have Pac to come in and help if shenanigans arise. But still, despite all odds, I hope the Lucha Bros fucking win. Hell, I'd even be happy if the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus come out to help, just for the sake of, anyone but you guys. We don't want you fuckers being the tag team champs anymore. We're going to help these guys win or something,
Well, I'm not going to lie. My emotional investment's a little deflated because the Varsity Blondes didn't win the tournament. Because, again, I'm a huge, huge fan of Pillman. And I'm always I'm getting a little impatient to see them go all the way with the Varsity Blondes. They're not even on the show, it would appear, and that's disappointing. I would have loved to see them spotted in somewhere. I have a lot of same feelings about you as far as both of these teams, and especially the Bucks. Selfishly, I'd like to see them. They're going to have to lose it eventually. It seems overdue already. I got to watch that I don't go full Cornette on these guys, because there's always the risk. But yeah, I guess I'll go with you on this one and give it to the Lucha Brothers, just because selfishly, just put the belts on somebody else at this point. But But if they want to keep it on the Bucks for a couple more weeks and then put the Varsity Blondes over, I won't complain about that. But for this one, yeah, I'll go with you and say Lucha Brothers.
Well, I gotta say, I think we're all gonna be the Lucha Brothers, Team Lucha Brothers, because I'm really fed up with the Young Bucks as well. They were kind of annoying before, but now that it became totally obnoxious and very, cocky about themselves and all that shit, like they turned extremely heelish. Like the way they're doing this, oh god, no, get rid of the Young Bucks. We're tired of them. Let's give the Lucha Brothers a chance. And that would be totally awesome. Now I am afraid that things in actuality can go either or, just because it's in a steel cage match, and that the Young Bucks, they're gonna cheat their way to the top as well. So it's kind of like I don't know, but me personally, like you guys said, like selfishly, like I would rather the Lucha Brothers win this match compared to the Young Bucks.
Yeah, some of these, it's like we're less rooting for one, but rooting against another one.
Yeah. But in your case, you said the Lucha Bros, or you still said the Young Bucks?
No, I said the Lucha Brothers.
No, I mean for Roxx.
Yeah,
I said I'm with you on the Lucha Brothers, just more because I'd rather not see the Bucks have it. But like I said, it wouldn't break my heart if they kept it on the Bucks a few more weeks and then they dropped it to the Varsity Blondes. That would probably make me even happier.
Yeah.
But that's me being selfish.
Hey, it's wrestling. We all
love me
how to
some
be
Pillman.
selfish.
Yeah, I would want to see him go over the world. He's just got it, man. He's got it, and if they wait too long, well, that would be upsetting. So I would love to see them go all the way with him.
So the next match here is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Yes. With Rebel in her corner, even though I wouldn't be surprised if Jamie Hayter is lurking around somewhere, versus Kris Statlander, the alien. And yes, it's for the AEW Women's World Championship. This is kind of tough because on one side, I want Kris Statlander to win it. But I don't know. Baker hasn't been champ that long, and Baker has the numbers games. Rebel's gonna be there. I believe Jamie Hayter's in the Royal Rumble thing, so she's gonna be in this too. She'll probably show up too, and I don't know. Cassidy might surprise us with his presence, to distract them or something. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. On the other hand, if someone like, for example, Lucha Rosa or whatever actually does win the Royal Rumble, the Women's Casino Battle Royale, whatever, they might keep, Baker with the title to lead up to a Lucha Rosa versus Baker now official match, not unsanctioned match for the title. So I don't know. I kind of think like if Lucha Rosa wins the event, Baker's got to probably still keep her title. But if she doesn't win it, then maybe give it to Kris Statlander. But damn. I want to give it to Britt Baker because I think it's probably still too soon to drop the belt. And she did tell me when I met her for an autograph that, oh yeah, I'm going to have this belt on for a long time, baby. So, we'll take her word for it.
I'm going to say that Britt's going to go over. It seems like too soon, and she's really hot right now. Like, you guys were talking about the reactions she's been getting from the crowd and all that. And, it just seems too soon to switch it. And she's got so much momentum on her side right now. So, to me, it seems pretty obvious that Baker goes over on this one and keeps the belt. And plus, again, you do got the numbers game with Rebel 2 against 1, so there's another variable there. And, so that's my pick. I'm going to say Britt Baker takes the win for this one.
Okay, so when I think about this match, pretty much like what you guys said, I think it is going to be Britt Baker because, she just won the belt, so why are you going to drop that so soon? And, Kris Statlander, she's a good wrestler. She has her gimmicks and all that stuff, but I do feel like Britt Baker compared to Kris, it's more like the fan favorite, especially right now. She's having this huge momentum, and everybody's cheering for her. And I think it's going to be Britt Baker. And
right, so we got a few this time where everybody's unanimous and on the same page. That's a rare thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's also because we're missing Mr. Contrarian.
Because we don't have Jack Knives.
Because I swear, sometimes he just does it just because. Like most of the time it's from the heart, but other times I'm thinking like, you know what? I'm gonna throw a screwball in this one and say the opposite of what they're all saying.
Yeah, a lot of times it ends up being right though. That's the thing. He's got some clairvoyance and it's interesting. He's got some very, like I said, his insights are very, very much missed on this one today.
Yeah, but we'll sure to get him back in other episodes when he's not. He actually got a new job now, which is cool because hey, we all need that money. So his schedule's a bit changing, and of course we'll take this time to plug in to watch his videos, watch the hypothetical episodes. New episodes are coming. They do take him a long time to edit and work on, though. That does take up some of his time. But you see it's all worth it, though, when you actually see the episode. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, back to the thing here. So the next one
this
here...
next one should be pretty... this I'm interested in this next match because they're really branching out with AEW. Like, they brought in so many different multi-sport talents. Like, they had Shaq and they had various people. They had Mike Tyson, and now I think they got Darby Allin wrestling some UFC guy.
Yeah, more than some USC guy. It's the guy who promised that he would never ever return to wrestling, and yet here he is, Chicago's very own CM Punk is back in wrestling in AEW. Too bad, Vince, you blew it there. And he's gonna be going up against Darby Allin. And yeah, so CM Punk showed up. He had a big ass explosive crowd. It was in Chicago. It was the second episode of Rampage, and I mean they didn't waste any time. He just showed up right off the bat. All these rumors and leaks and possibilities, like they would have literally have torn the house down if he didn't show up at all in that episode. It was just like a fake thing, and maybe he actually did go back to WWE or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they would have torn the place down if he wasn't there. So they wasted no time. The moment the show started, CM Punk, the music started playing, his crossed arm logo thing started showing up, lighting things up and everything, and yeah, he came up, did his promo in the famous, sitting down pipe bomb position. I made everyone cheer. Legit people crying in the crowd when he showed up and everything. And my favorite part is the whole dig at WWE, because it makes sense the way he was treated, I know a lot of people knock WWE, but if anyone has any right to, it's him. And his thing was, he said something to the likes of I realized I was never going to get any better if I didn't leave the place that was making me sick. So we all knew what he was talking about. Everyone cheering and everything. But then, of course, he also brought up... What?
I was to say we all know what he was referring to.
Yeah. And then...
I'll never forgive UFC for not going all the way on that guy.
Well, yeah. But the other thing is, he wants to go with fresh talent. He wants to go with Darby Allin. He said he respects the guy a lot, likes his work, likes how risky he is, how he just throws his body on the line every time he wrestles. He says, like, dude, that's the kind of guy, like, when I was a kid, like if he was wrestling when I was a kid, that's the kind of guy I would be a fan of. That's the kind of guy I would like to be like and everything. So the question is, can CM Punk keep up? Can CM Punk still go? So, that's what kind of caused the whole thing, if he'll do it or not. And of course, they agreed to, so there we go. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Possibly one of the biggest headline matches of Darby Allin's entire career so far. He's still a young up-and-comer. And so the question is, who's going to win this one? And I don't know, because I know everyone always gives all this critique about, oh, here comes the older guys to put down the younger guys, blah, 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 whatever. But I don't know. On one side, I don't think they would bring out CM Punk to lose so quickly in his first match, especially since he kind of sort of has to redeem himself from his not so great outings in UFC. You know what I mean? But on the other side, I mean, I don't think Darby Allin necessarily has to win this one. I mean, just sharing the ring with fucking CM Punk and being like his first opponent coming back should be like a fucking awesome enough rub. I mean, obviously they're both going to give it their all and blah, 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 blah. And you could arrange the match in a certain way that if, you know, maybe Darby didn't do this one little mistake, he would have won or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know. I'm going to give it to CM Punk. It's his first comeback. And I know that for the, you know, armchair wrestlers, you know how I'm assuming every time they bring in some of these guys, it brings new people in. So if you got all these new people coming in that have never seen AEW and don't really care about whatever, but they're like, oh shit, CM Punk's back, oh fuck, you know. So they're going to come and sit down and watch CM Punk back in the ring lose to a scrawny, skateboarding, emo face, quote unquote, nobody, in their opinion. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to do that. So I think CM Punk's taking it. And I think that Darby Allin can like, you know, afford to lose. They can always do a rematch later or whatever. I mean, just being within his presence should be fucking badass enough. I mean, dude, you got Sting in your corner and you're going up against CM Punk. How much, like, more elevated do you need to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely see that. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like in this unique circumstance, I feel like Punk almost needs it more. You know, on the same show, you got another ex-WWE guy making their in-ring debut, and if they both, either way, if they both win or they both lose, that's kind of weird, right? So it's like one guy's probably going up and one guy's probably going down. So I think, as I said, I think Paul White's going down, and to give QT and Camarado the rub early in the show, and I think here, I think it's going to be countered by Punk going over. Because let's face it, he needs some kind of heat coming in. He basically ended his WWE run as a non-factor, like he didn't even have a final match, so to speak, and or at least not one that was about him. And then the UFC thing happened, so it's like you still have people kind of snickering when you hear his name a little bit. So he needs a big win coming in to kind of put some shine back on his name. And like you said, Allin, I think he's going to be over anyway. So I feel like the way they're going to book this one is it's probably going to be a hell of a match. It's going to both guys going all out, no pun intended, or pun fully intended, I guess. And I think Punk's going to go over at the end of it. I think it's going to be in a way like where you said, where, oh man, if only Darby didn't make that one mistake, like he took one risk too many and it cost him. I could see it being like that. You know, miss something big, walk into the go to sleep 1, 2, 3, something like that. There's a lot they could do with it. I think that might be the match of the night, frankly. There's a lot of ones that are going to be good, but I think that one's probably got the most magic behind it. Like, I mean, the two biggest competitors for that, I think, are going to be Jericho versus MJF. And Jericho obviously is, you know, he's still good, but he's a little bit behind where he used to be. And then you got Omega versus Christian, who, again, Christian a little long in the tooth. But Punk, he's up there too, but, you know, he knows how to work his style. Allen's up and coming. So I think that's going to probably be match of the night in my prediction. I think Punk and Allin, that's the thing I think most people are probably honestly tuning in to see. They want to see Punk's big comeback, and like you said, if he doesn't win, it's going to feel a little flat. So, and plus, if he loses again, that opens the door for people to make all kinds of stupid jokes, like, oh, he can't win when it's real, he can't win when it's scripted, what the hell? So I feel like he needs it more. So that's my prediction, is Punk goes over Allin, but they're going to do it in a way where Allin keeps his heat, and it'll probably end with a handshake.
Yeah.
Well, this match, this is the big one. Wow. But, you know, yeah, they're both really good wrestlers, though. But, you know, CM Punk, I mean, I think they're going to make him win the match because, like you guys said, he does need to redeem himself. And, they made such a big deal that CM Punk is back in the AEW, blah, blah. It's like he has to win this match. There's no other way around it. Like what you guys said, Darby Allin's going to give his all, but I think eventually he's going to do a little mistake here and there, and that's going to cost, CM Punk to win this match. But the other scenario that I don't think nobody really talked about is that, Darby is with Sting. So, Sting's there in the match. I'm not surprised that if CM Punk does something, that Darby Allin and Darby Allin loses the match, that Sting might want to start a fight with CM Punk, and then guess what? That's gonna be the next match, for another pay-per-view, like it's gonna be a build-up. So yeah, I think it's gonna be CM Punk, but he really needs this win. They just, brought him here to the AEW, so it would be very weird if he lost this match, especially in his hometown as well.
Yeah, that's another variable.
So, I think it's going to be CM Punk. There's just way too much hype around CM Punk even before he even officially showed up at the AEW, Like, there were already too many rumor mills that, I don't know, I think CM Punk's going to be in the AEW, and then, bam, this.
The one thing I have noticed, though, is that AEW, to avoid all the criticism and comparisons, they have done a good job of preventing too many matches or too many main events where it is, big X WWE guy versus other X big WWE guy. They've been doing a good job mixing it up and keeping them kind of separate and stuff like that. I mean, the only thing I could think of is like matches between Jericho and Cody maybe, and Jericho and Moxley, but for the most part, they've been doing a good job of keeping them separate. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if people would want to see Sting go up against CM Punk, but they might want to keep those people separate. I don't know.
I guess that brings us to the official main event. Maybe not the match that most people are the most interested in, but the one that's closing the show, the one that's for all the marbles, the big gold.
Yep. We got Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage, and unlike the last time, this time it really is for the AEW World Championship. And, what can I say? I would really love Cage to finally beat Omega. This storyline's been going on for a long time. It's also kind of like what you said before, Roxx, where if one person wins, the other person loses, whatever. So this is kind of a pick-em in the sense, like for example, if the Young Bucks lose their titles, then Omega might still retain. Or if the Young Bucks win, then maybe Omega will lose the title. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going on with that. But, I don't know. I just see too many, again, the numbers game. We got Don Callis. We got the Good Brothers. FTR might just run in for no, not FTR. The Young Bucks might run in because we already know they're in the building. I don't know. What they got fucking, Nakazawa with them now and Brandon Cutler with them now and all these other guys. They just got random guys for the sake of guys, And I mean all Cage got is that occasionally Darby Allin, because Cage has come to Darby Allin's help, so maybe this time Darby might show up and set up a future Omega match or something. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's a rough one. On one side, I think Omega's going to win because of the numbers game. But on the other thing, it's like if the Young Bucks lose their titles earlier tonight, it might increase the chances of Kenny Omega retaining so that some of them still have some of the gold when it's all said and done. You know what I mean? And off chance the Young Bucks retain, that might build your chances that Kenny Omega might lose it. Who knows? I might have to shave off the douche stash, or as Johnny calls it, the porn stash. Yeah. Because I'm actually regrowing it now, but I'm gonna permanently get rid of it if Omega loses the title. It's just a personal stupid thing I just made for myself, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say again, there's variables. For example, Christian, he still has the Impact title. Win or lose, he's still gonna have that. And Christian went over Omega the last time to win that belt from him, so I don't see Omega losing twice in a row to Christian, who is A, already protected, he already has a world title, and B, he's older, he's established, he doesn't quite need it. He doesn't need another win over Omega, and then at the same time, too, I really can't help but feel they're saving Omega for something else. I have a feeling at this point they're trying to build up whoever eventually is going to beat him for the belt. I have a feeling that's going to be treated as like a big deal.
Well, whenever Hangman Page returns from whatever the fuck happened to him.
There's an idea, but bottom line, I don't think it's going to be Christian, and I don't think it's going to be on this night, so I think based on multiple variables, like Christian already having beaten him once before, Christian already having the Impact World title, so he comes out of this. Both guys, if Omega wins, okay, they're both still champion in their respective deal and all that, and that works. So I just think there's too much in Omega's favor. So that's my prediction on this one. I think Omega's going to win this one, and they're going to keep it on him for a little while because I think a bigger name or somebody who needs more of a rub, one or the other, is going to be the one to take it off of Omega. I don't think it's going to be Christian, and not on this day.
Kenny Omega, I just don't see it. I don't know. I need to lose this match.
What leads you to that decision? Yeah. It's obviously great that we all agree, but what's got you thinking Omega?
I don't know. For me personally, I just see, Kenny Omega. He just has more of a stage presence. He just has more charisma overall. He's a very skillful, good wrestler and all that. So I don't know. I just see Kenny Omega winning this match more compared to Christian. But that's just my own little personal biases as well,
Fair enough. Man, this is going to be an historic event. We got a lot of unanimous. It's just the three of us, but even with that, it's not common for us to all line up on so many different ones. So this ought to be interesting. We're all going to win or we're all going to lose.
Exactly. Oh man, I think the only one that we went different was me wanting Jericho to win while you guys were still giving it to MJF. And
well, I would like to see him win. I don't think it's going to happen.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes we got to go against who we want to win and just go who we think's going to win. And hey, we all had different girls lined up for the Battle Royale, and you're thinking Marshall's going to win one due to Karamoto there. So, some of them are different. But yeah, like you said, most of them are kind of like we're all going to win or we're all going to lose.
Yep.
Well, definitely should be an interesting weekend. And then by next weekend, we'll be coming together before then to go over, find out who was up, who was down, who was right, who was wrong, and all that fun stuff. So
yeah, that's going to be awesome. And another thing, too, is that let's see if they have any extra matches or anything. They haven't really mentioned if any match replaced this one, since the whole Pac versus El Idolo got canceled. There's nothing really here saying that this match will replace it instead or whatever the heck. So we gotta see.
10 matches, it's pretty packed. 10 matches is a lot.
Yeah. Now another thing too is with AEW, I don't know. I'm not too fond of them being on Sundays because it used to be better when it was Saturdays because, you can stay up super late. It's past midnight sometimes and whatever. But then, you're for at least most of us that are off on weekends. I know some people still work on the weekends, but for the majority that are off on weekends, you can still chill that Sunday. Now they're doing the Sunday thing like WWE does. I don't know why they switched. This time they kind of get a free pass because a lot of us are off that Labor Day Monday. Although, not all of us, but most of us are. But, I don't know, man. Put it back to Saturday, guys. It was just better. More convenient. It gave you guys a leg up above WWE and made you guys a little different. Now it's same old, Sunday pay-per-view, gotta wake up early the next day, all that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I don't know for a fact, but maybe they were just too many people go out on Saturdays. Maybe they were losing money. I don't know.
No, it could be.
I mean, I don't know how many wrestling fans go out on Saturday unless it's to a wrestling show, but
That's right.
Speculation. But speaking of, I mean, I was saying how by next weekend we'll be getting together to do the wrap up, the recap, but hopefully it won't be on the 11th because I know where I'll be on Saturday, September 11th.
Yeah.
I know you were going to ask me.
Yeah, what are you going to be doing on that fateful day?
So on Saturday, September 11th, I will be appearing at SWF Homecoming. The SWF returns to the Jersey Shore at the Ocean County YMCA in Toms River, New Jersey. The meet and greet is at 5 p.m. Bell time is at 6. Tickets start at only $20. SWF Live on Facebook. For tickets, you can go to www.swflive.org. We are going to have a lot. We're going to have the Sandman. We're going to have the Powers of Pain in a special attraction tag match. That's going to be amazing. Warlord and Barbarian are going to be lacing it up.
Oh, wow.
That's phenomenal right off the bat there. They're going to be doing a 6-man tag with the Hellhound Cerberus, my buddy Vince, against the Foundation of Wrestling. Always a good time. We're going to have a hardcore strap match, Charlie Bonifer versus Vinny Cenzo. We got all kinds of good stuff going out. Rob Fury versus Jimmy Controversy in a casket match. King Jeter, the Battle of the Kings, King Jeter versus King Blackie. That's going to be off the hook. We've got Rhett the Threat Titus versus Jay Curcio versus Too Hot Steve Scott. And those guys are all fantastic. I do not know what exactly I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be in the mix somewhere. And, that's I'm a wild card. You don't always know where the wild card's going to turn up. But, always sure to raise a little havoc. And that's actually going to be my second show of the day because that afternoon, right around lunchtime, I'll be appearing at Super Crazy Pro Wrestling in Deptford, New Jersey at their event. So I'm going to be doing a double shot that day, which I don't do for everybody. But, for these particular companies, I don't mind doing it. So I got an early show and a late show. So it's going to be off the hook. And at the last Super Crazy show, we had Moose and Brian Cage from AEW actually at that. So that was
wow.
Yeah, that was a big deal. They were great guys, and so you never know who's going to show up. New Jersey indie wrestling, So we have on September 11th, we got the Super Crazy event at noon on September 11th, and then the Superstars Wrestling Federation event at 6 p.m. So it's going to be a fun night of wrestling action on September 11th.
Hey, pimp that merch.
Good memories. Oh, yeah, there's always going to be merch to sell, shirts and necklaces and bandanas and all that great stuff. We're all about, giving people, if you're going to be at the show, you got to take something home with you. It's only right,
Yeah. Well, wow, you're going to feel it the next day.
But the logo on my shirt will not.
You're going to feel it Sunday the 12th.
Yeah, but that's real life, so, used to that. But if I'm not used to that by now, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I mean, at least the next day's Sunday, so I get to just chill out and relax.
Like that one dude that's going up against Jeter, is he also a big dude like that? Because like I said, Jeter's like a fucking human wall, man. Like.
Yeah. Well, Jeter's got something to prove now that he's done with the program, and after they accidentally cost him his title to TJ Marconi, so now he's done with them, and he's on the hot babyface run, and he's beaten the world. So now King Blackie, he's a big dude. He's tall. He's not anywhere near as heavy or as wide, but he's a tall dude. I've been in the ring with him a couple of times, and he don't go down easy. So that's my perspective on that. And I'm going to give that one to Jeter just based on the fact that having been in the ring with both of them, I know how unstoppable Jeter can be. And when he's committed and he's got fire, I don't know too many guys who can stand in his way. So that's definitely going to be one to see. I mean, I'm in a way glad that he's no longer the champion, because if I want that belt, I don't got to go through him to get it. But then on the other side of the coin, TJ Marconi is not a small guy or an easy guy to go over either. So now if I want the belt, I got to go through him. That's like kind of like, who do I want to rip me apart? The T-Rex or the saber-toothed tiger? I really don't know.
God. Yeah.
But on a good day, I would not be. Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have to go through either of them. But hey, I'm not wrestling either one of them on this particular show. So there's that. What I'm doing, we will find out. TBT, to be determined.
There you go. All right, guys. I guess that wraps up this episode of the Diamond Cutter podcast. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, we can't wait. Let's see what happens with All Out. I'm pretty excited. Always makes a good weekend. It's always a very entertaining show. It's never too predictable, and there's always a lot of fun to be had. Even on their worst ones that weren't so perfect, there was still something cool. Cool matches, cool guys. It's entertaining. And, it's just something fun to watch. And I can't wait to watch it. So it's going to be super awesome. So yeah, we'll be keeping in touch, guys. We're going to come back, touch base, give our thoughts. We'll see who else joins us and things like that, and do our comparisons, who was right, who was wrong, and all that. But till then, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
And this is Johnny Rodriguez.
And once again, the God of Thunder, Lord of Rock and Roll, Rikki Roxx signing off. Check us out this weekend upcoming, or next weekend upcoming, SWF and Super Crazy. But this weekend, we do have AEW All Out. Pay attention to that and let us know what you thought of the show. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.
Yep, take care, guys. And enjoy your Labor Day weekend.